Hello everyone, welcome to today's tutorial. If you are new on this channel, you are welcome. Today our tutorial is going to be on how to stitch this buba. We have done a whole video on how to cut an hero and buba. So this tutorial is going to be focused on how you can, after cutting it, stitch it or sew it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and also share if this tutorial was helpful one way or the other. So let's jump right into today's tutorial. Hopefully you've already watched the part 1 of this video on how to cut your buba and your hero. So we're focusing on the buba. The hero is super easy to just finish the edges, folding the edges, that's all. So I have my buba, I have the bias strip that I've cut as well as the sleeves as well. So I hope you already have that ready. So before we start the sewing, there's something I want to tell you about your sleeve. I hope you left about 2.5 inches for your folding in allowance for your sleeve, but if you didn't, at least it should be 2 inches or 1.5 inch. It should not be below 1.5 inches, because so that it will give you that traditional look. It's important for you to have at least 1.5 inches, but mine is 2.5 inches. So what I did after I cut it, I just folded in that 2.5 inches and I ironed it out. So we're going to explain it better on what you're going to do to the sleeve. So we're going to start with the neck. The bias strip that we have, we're going to use it to tidy up the neck line or the neck of the buba. So we're going to place the bias strip on right side facing right side. We'll open it up first, place it on right side facing right side, and then we're just going to take 1/2 inch all the way around and then trim the excess that we have. If you don't have excess, then it should meet each other at a point, but if there is an excess, please try as much as possible to cut out the excess once you reach that point. So just follow as I have done in this video. You could go back to watch it again so that you could follow it step by step what I have done for the neckline. So after doing that, I would advise you go and iron it first, then you could follow this process that we're going to be doing next. So you are going to try to fold your bias strip in a way that it goes back inside, and the part that you have also sewn in the other, that is the join in the rough edge, you just fold it one and you fold it the second time as well, and you're going to make sure that the bias is not coming out in the front. So once you do that, you just be folding little by little and then you will sew it. After finishing the neck, you will then use your iron to press it just to make it look neater. In case you forgot to notch your shoulder point, now is the time to do that. I forgot to do mine, so I'm just going to do mine now. So I'm going to notch the 2 shoulder points. Don't make a mistake, please. Make sure it's the correct part that you are notching, as well as your sleeve. If you haven't notched your sleeve, please notch your sleeve, the shoulder point for your sleeve. I've already done that, so there will be no need for me to repeat it. So the next thing we're going to be doing now is we're going to try to measure the sleeve. It's going to be a step to the next step that we're going to be doing. So we're going to measure the neck, the sleeve width. I got 10.25. So I'm going to be taking 1 inch because I left 1 inch sewing allowance for my sleeve, or seam allowance rather, for my sleeve. I'm going to be taking in that 1 inch for both sleeves. So measure your sleeve and be sure. You might have made a mistake. So that same amount that you've gotten, that is that same sleeve width minus 1 inch, you're going to mark it. So I'm going to be marking 9.25 on my buba on both sides. So please try and do the same as well. So from the point we have marked, it is time for us to sew in our seam allowance. If you have a vent, you have to stop at the point where your vent is, but if you don't, you just sew all the way down your 1 inch or the number of inches or whatever allowance that you have left for your seam allowance. So I will be starting from that point. Make sure you also start from that point and if you have a vent, you stop at the vent. If you don't, you can sew it all the way down. So in case you inserted a vent, here's what you're going to do. So for your vent, you're just going to fold it just like you do if you're folding the edge of your clothes. You just fold it once and twice. So I left 1 inch, so I'm going to be folding it. So you're going to be doing this for both the left and the right side. So the next thing is to sew it, and I'll just do that now. After finishing the vent edges, the next thing is to put it together. So we are just going to sew a straight line across the vent that we have. The next thing will be to take care of the sleeve. Remember that we folded 2.5 inches, so we are just going to fold it a little so that that's wide, or that width that we desire, will still remain that way. So we're going to do this to both the left and the right sleeve, and then we're going to move to attaching the sleeve to the main blouse. So we're done with the folding in of the sleeve edge. So the next thing we're going to do is now taking the seam allowance of 1 inch. So you're going to be doing this for both sleeves, both the left sleeve and the right sleeve as well. So when you are done with that, we're going to attach the sleeve to the main blouse. Remember that we have our notched area on both the shoulder of the blouse, as well as the buba, as well as the shoulder point on the sleeve. So what you're now going to do is that you're going to bring out your sleeve to the right side, and you're going to place it into that hole, or that opening that we have on the buba, and then we're going to connect, or we're going to place both these notched part of the sleeve and the notched part of the buba so that they are aligning. So when you put it into the buba, you realize that you have your right side facing right side. Remember, right side facing right side, so that you don't make that mistake of the wrong side facing the right side. So after doing that, you could then pin it all the way around to make it easier for you to sew. So you could start from that notched part so that you know that you are done with the shoulder part, and then you take in your 1/2 inch or the ones that you have left, depending on the allowance you have left. But I left 1/2 inch, so it's 1/2 inch that I'm going to be sewing all the way around. So after concluding with the sleeves, the next thing to do is to hem the bottom of our buba. I left about 1 inch, so I'm going to be taking it in by 1 inch for both the back and the front. Ensure that it's about the same length. You can see our vent has a little bit of opening. If you don't want yours to be like this, you could still sew it down, or I'll be leaving mine like this. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm just going to sew in my folding in allowance, and then I'll show you how it looks like. So this is how it looks like. I'll just be using my iron to press it so that it can give it a much more neater look. So that is just how you are going to sew your buba. The iro, as I have said earlier, is just to hem the edges. There is no big deal when it comes to that. The main work is on your buba, and I'm showing you exactly how you do it. So once you are done with this, you could just press it, make it look much more neater. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful one way or the other. If it was, please don't forget to like, share and comment below. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask your questions in the comment section. And thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye.